Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. We're kicking off the show with an update on that sad story out of South Korea, where at least 85 people have died as a plane crashed while landing at an airport. The Jeju airplane had 181 passengers on board and was arriving at Muan Airport from Bangkok, Thailand, when it came off the runway and crashed into a wall, bursting into flames. No cause has been confirmed, but the fire service says it believes a collision with birds and poor weather may be to blame. Local TV stations aired footage showing thick fumes of black smoke billowing from the plane engulfed with flame. The country's deputy prime minister has ordered officials to employ all available resources to rescue the passengers and crew. According to Yonhap news agency, acting Prime Minister Choi Sam-mok was at the scene of the incident earlier and directed for reinforcement of manpower, healthcare and equipment to help with the rescue effort. Choi was named interim leader of the country on Friday after the previous acting president was impeached amid ongoing political crisis. What a sad moment, sad incident. I mean, what a way to assume office. The Prime Minister there, I mean, he has done well in directing for healthcare and all of that, which is what should happen in a crisis situation like this. But it feels like dark December, really, because, I mean, only last week we talked about the incident that happened in Kazakhstan, almost the same sort of report that we heard earlier. We had, you know, bird strikes, adverse weather conditions for that one. I believe that they're reporting about 120 people dead as at this moment from, you know, AFP.
Some other people are saying maybe even up to 175.
175, yeah. Right. That's what we are hearing. And really, but I mean, 181 people on board. I'm seeing 2 survivors at this point. You know, all of these reports will keep trickling in as the day goes by. Really sad moment for December. We've had so many tragic incidents. I mean, I think 2024, December 2024, might go down in history as one of the darkest hours around the world, with so many tragedies occurring. Steve.
Absolutely, Oji. I mean, only yesterday, Shetu and I had a lengthy discussion around this subject, you know, just like last week when we didn't know, you know, on a Saturday you were discussing Stampede. You didn't know that by the time that you'll be leaving the studio, you know, something worse will happen. Yesterday we were discussing about the Azerbaijan airline, and then today a more horrendous, horrific situation that has got everybody, you know, talking, sympathizing, commiserating with South Korea. And you're correct, with all the political turmoil in that country, look at what has now happened to further dampen the spirit of the people. It's such a sad situation. You're very correct about the fact that details are still coming as to the precise number of casualties, but it's looking more like maybe only 2 survivors out of the entire. Some people are saying 179 on board, others are saying 181. You know, I mean, any way you look at it, this is just sad. And you'll be very correct to say that, you know, maybe December, Yuletide 2024 will be one of the darkest in recent history. We did mention yesterday, even in Nigeria, horrible things that do happen around this time. We recall the situation in Owo, you know, when a terrorist attacked the church. You can also add for this year the whole issue of, you know, exactly, and then the strikes in Sokoto and everything, and then all the stampedes. Now for the South Koreans, this is just so bad. The little that we know about that flight, it's not a MAX, even though it's a Boeing, but it's a Boeing, I believe,
737
It's absolutely, you know, and that's sad. Carrying such a large a number of people is said to be the largest low-cost airline in South Africa, which was established in 2005. And you know the thing about low cost, you know, you just want to get in quick, you know, and get out, very minimal luggage with you and things like that. You know, you just want to, you know, many of the people will have even booked, you know, maybe on that day or just a day before, you
Yes.
know, trying to save money and everything. And this is what
I
has
mean, I
happened.
think that it was going to a vacation spot. I believe that's what I was reading. And, you know, it just seemed like such a gory scene when you saw the plane. I mean, it seemed that it had, you know, perfected its landing, only for you to see it skid off the runway, the graphic footage.
It's interesting because even just based on the statistics, about 50% of plane crashes actually happen during takeoff or during landing. So it's very important. There's a lot of, let's say, focus that is put on the landing teams and on the pilots to just make sure that those kind of accidents don't happen. And, you know, initial investigations that have coming are actually suggesting that it's probably because of, you know, like adverse weather, you know, when had something that had to do with what had happened like in the air and then had affected the plane while it landed. Jeju Air, Jeju Air is a leading, like you said, South Korean low-cost carrier. Has issued a public apology already to, you know, the families and, you know, those that are involved, and has pledged support for the victims as well. And the incident in itself marks the airline's first fatal crash. South Korea's acting president, Choi Sang-mok, has called for a full-scale mobilization of resources to rescue and assist, try and rescue, get the bodies out, those that are able to survive, the victims, making sure that he's emphasizing support for bereaved families. But the deployment, I think you could just look at how quick they were able to respond to this particular crash. There's the deployment of 32 fire engines. Just that shows the personal indication to the swift and well-coordinated emergency response. Unfortunately, in this situation, of course, a lot of lives were lost, but then at least the remaining 2 that were there were able to be rushed to the hospital very quickly. It definitely highlights the extreme, challenges of escaping under such conditions, particularly for passengers who were, passengers, like you said, who were just like trying to get to their next, destination. It's really sad. That's a lot of people.
It's a major tragedy. It's a major tragedy. And I like the fact that you brought in the weather condition. I mean, of course, following the news, you know that all throughout yesterday, there were issues, flight cancellations all over the UK. Because of this adverse weather. When things like that happen, people tend to get agitated, and flustered, but then safety is always the most important thing. Even if there will be a delay or a cancellation, for you to stay alive, I think that people should trust the authorities.
Absolutely. Adverse weather, one of the biggest issues, but also they talked about the bird strike. I mean, that's one of the things that they said about the Azerbaijan air flight, but we are hearing reports about, whether or not it was a Russian drone strike, like Washington has said.
Has apologized to the Azerbaijan authorities, even though he hasn't fully admitted that Russia was,
which is really a sad incident, because if you had seen the tail end of that plane, you'd seen bullet holes and all of that. But bird strikes is not, it's not new. It's nothing new to air flying. In 2009, I believe that, the U.S. Airways had a bird strike and it, successfully landed actually on the Hudson River. Really sad incident. May their souls rest in peace. Really, really sad. Nobody wants to ever hear of that sort of...
the last one for the year, right?
How many days do we have left now?
2 days.
This is even confusing. How many days more?
2 days.
Sunday?
About 48 more hours.
Okay, Tuesday's 31st.
Yeah,
okay.
Really sad. Well,
Home run.
may their souls rest in peace.